Welcome to our podcast. This is Friends on Fire.
I'm Mike. I'm a lifelong devotee of financial independence. I even wrote a book about it.
And I'm Maggie, a newer convert, but just as passionate, especially on the intersection of minimalism and financial independence.
We're one and the same.
We are two like-minded friends who believe that talking about money with your friends and family opens the door to financial well-being.
The Friends on Fire podcast is about dispelling myths, building financial acumen, and sharing your financial independence journey with the people you care about.
This is Friends on Fire.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Maggie.
How's it going?
Good. Happy Earth Day.
Yeah. Happy Earth Day, week, year. Every day should be Earth Day, in my opinion.
Yeah. I never remember these special days of the year until they're upon me. I don't know about you.
Upon you. Yeah, I'm not, is one of the many things I think I'll be better on in retirement particularly for the podcast, for doing more timely.
I sure hope so. I rely on you for this sort of cultural tie-in material.
Especially when I'm retired.
Yeah.
So we were wanting to put out this topic around Earth Day because we believe there are a ton of things that you can do that are really good for the environment. They're good, sustainable practices, but they also save you money. So they're win-win.
And if you happen to not be an environmentalist or not be into personal finance, but into minimalism, it's the exact same stuff. No matter what your motivation is, all of these tactics will make you feel good and improve your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully there's something in here you care about between the environment, your money. I hope everyone cares about the environment, but I know some people do not. And on that note, I don't want to say do not. I think some people are maybe less
concerned about it.
Concerned, yeah. What I was going to say is less aware of how bad things are right now and how bleak the future is for our children and many future generations if we don't make some changes. Mm-hmm. On that note, let's share a couple of really quick stats just to remind people why this matters, right? Why sustainability matters, why different practices to help the environment matter.
And in true Friends on Fire form, we will not be sourcing these statistics. They're just from the internet.
Actually, they're from the internet. I did source them. I'll source them down the show references. They're from a website from Georgetown, which, college website, respectable college website. That's got to be right? They source them. So that's all I mean. I source them. They source through a chain of 20 links. They are sourced in some way. Okay, first one, kind of fun one. Well, fun's the wrong word. Slap in the face one. The United States, where we happen to live, Mike and I, is the number one trash producing country in the world. We produce around 1,600 plus pounds per person per year of trash. That's a lot. Think about that. Per person per year, 1,600 plus pounds. This means that 5% of the world's people, which is about the population of the US, actually generate 40% of the world's waste. So we're overproducing our fair share of waste in this world as Americans. And there's a lot of things which we'll talk about today we can do to pull back the waste that we're producing. Another one is in the last 170 years, we have added 2.4 trillion tons of carbon dioxide into our... I'm just laughing. This is not a funny stat, but guys, I'm laughing because it took me 3 tries to get the word carbon dioxide out. And on the third one, I started laughing because I was so excited I got it out. You missed all the previous takes at that. The point is we've added trillions worth of tons of carbon dioxide into. I cannot say the word dioxide.
Maggie, let me take this over for you.
Okay.
In the last 170 years, we've added 2.4 trillion tons of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. Half of this was added in the last 35 to 50 years.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can't say the word dioxide for some reason, but the point of this stat is how fast we are increasing our consumption of things that are putting bad things into the environment, right? And so the idea that half of that was added in the last 15 years just shows how quickly and how exponentially the way that we're treating the earth and the environment is increasing, not at a good rate. And it just shows the urgency on climate change and everything else, and where we really need to take a hard look at some of our practices and some of our day-to-day practices and try to make some improvements. The last one is transportation and housing make up about 60% of our carbon footprint of US households. So this is everything from the fuels that we use for transportation to heat and cool and power our homes. And I think that this is just an interesting one because the fact that you often think like, oh, these big, factories and trucks out on the road and stuff like that are causing all of the carbon dioxide in the air and other bad pollutants in the air. And actually our day-to-day just living and the way that we live and the way that we consume is making up about 60% of that footprint, which I think is a fascinating stat personally.
So obviously this is a huge problem, but we don't want to spend the whole episode talking about the environment because whether or not you are worried about it does not mean you can't find some other benefit in making some of these changes. So if you want to save money, you can do a lot of these things and then you can feel better about it because it's also helping the environment. It doesn't have to be your primary motivation, but it is important to understand that this is a big problem and these are some things that you can do to help.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is we can all do things, right? So sometimes I think you think that the problem is bigger than our day-to-day activities and that we can't personally make a change on things, but we can. And obviously you want exponential volumes of people to make these changes, and it has a much larger impact on the planet, but it starts with you, right? So I think the challenge here is think about what you can do. And we're going to kind of skip past a lot of the basics, like bringing your own bags to the grocery store. I actually just went to the grocery store before this and forgot my bags, Mike. And I was like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Did you carry it all in your arms?
No, I did not. I've done that at Aldi before, but I was at a different store.
You took plastic bags from the grocery store, Maggie, on the day you record.
I felt bad / the irony of it. I happen to need, we have so few plastic bags in our house that I actually happen to need some because we use them for certain types of things. And so part of me was like, well, I could use a few extra plastic bags around the house. But no, the irony was not lost on me that.
And you drove in your fossil fuel burning car.
I drove in my third row SUV. Yeah. Look, don't do as we say, do it.
No. Don't do as we do.
Don't
do as we say.
Do as we say. Exactly.
All right. So we have a big list of tips that you can do to help the environment, but also help your finances. And also, as I mentioned earlier, help become more of a minimalist. A lot of these are going to focus on just consuming less stuff.
So we've kind of split this into, not that it really matters, but 2 lists. We're going to start with what we would call like little daily things you can do. And then we're going to move to some bigger lifestyle changes and approaches.
All right.
So we'll start small, build up. We're going to ping pong this, Mike and I are just going to go back and forth here. We're going to rattle these off fast. We hope you'll, dig into the ones that sound exciting to you.
Famous last words for us, rattle these off fast.
So we're going to go fast.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about these for the next 2 hours.
This is a 5-hour episode.
All right.
Okay. Number 1, use less of things. So people often think that they need more of a particular product. And I'm going to use examples from hand soap to toothpaste to shampoo to foods, maybe a bad example, but like toiletries are a great example. Even toothpaste, for example, I've talked to a dentist before, and people put like massive amounts of toothpaste on their toothbrush. You only need like a tiny little bit of it. And you think about that. If you go from people like in the ads where they do, a whole stripe on your toothbrush, and you go down to the little dollop that's actually what you need, that's a 75% reduction in the amount of toothpaste you're using over the course of a year. So there's little things you can do like that. I always get on my kids, like when they're washing their hands, I'm like, wash your hands, but they'll like pump the soap multiple times. And I'm like, whoa, you need like half a pump.
Or use bar soap made by me. That's very efficient.
You could. Well, you need to start producing antibacterial bar soap. Can you do that?
Oh, that's a marketing scheme.
I mean, it's like we're still somewhat, in a pandemic. So that's just why I'm saying antibacterial. Okay.
So continuing on your theme of toothpaste, I assume the whole episode is like this. I haven't read the show notes, Maggie. But the whole
episode is about toothpaste, yes.
Get every last bit of those things out of the containers before you throw them away or recycle them if possible. So you like to talk about your toothpaste. You cut them open, you squeeze out 1 or 2 weeks worth more of toothpaste every single time. And this is a very efficient way to extend the life of all the things that you buy.
Yeah, and squeeze is an interesting word there, Mike, because just to be clear, I cut open the back and I don't squeeze. I literally like jam my toothbrush down into the back and like wipe a little bit of toothpaste.
That's weirder than I thought it was.
I have my own toothpaste though. Greg and I each have our own toothpaste, so it's not like
that makes it better.
Well, because I'm wiping my toothbrush into my own personal vat of toothpaste.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it in his. I'm not dipping it in his. Okay, this has gone too far down the toothpaste tunnel.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, another weird thing I do, or I say weird thing, but thing that I've been doing for, I don't know, almost 10 years now, I think, is I have not purchased or used any paper towels. We only use cloth napkins and like cloth dish rags and other things, old towels, all sorts of, mix of things, but we do not use any sort of paper napkins or paper towels, and it works for us. And we have a large quantity on hand, so there's always plenty if there's guests over, if there's other kids over, if we have to wipe up a mess. And then I just throw them in the wash, and the volume does not create like extra laundry for me. They're little small add-ons to laundry that I'm already doing. And it's a great tip. Good for the environment, good for your wallet. Paper towels are not cheap.
Number 4, reuse glass and other containers. It takes thousands of years for glass and plastic to decompose. Reusing those containers is going to be a great practice. Even if it's something simple from takeout food, you can find a use for it, whether it's for more food or for some other craft or DIY project in your house.
Number 5, compost. So we started composting during the COVID pandemic, which is when I think half the world started composting and gardening and baking bread and many other things. And a massive benefit of this to the environment is it reduces what you're sending into landfills, and it actually takes those food scraps and uses them for something else and puts good nutrients and other things back into the soil. And so composting, great thing to get into. And if you are into gardening and other stuff, it saves you money because you don't have to buy soil and you're making your own soil. And I just think it's fascinating, like to see what happens to my food and how I've turned it into like really rich soil, trash, essentially. It's food scraps, food waste.
And the other benefit of composting is that your trash doesn't smell. You don't need to take it out as frequently. And the amount of stuff, to your point, Maggie, the amount of stuff that you are taking out and putting into a plastic bag to be taken to a landfill has been dramatically reduced. And this was really eye-opening for me when I started composting a number of years ago. It just seemed like the amount of stuff we were taking out to our garbage bin was cut in half.
Yeah, same here. It's significantly less.
All right, number 6, wash your clothes in cold water. Up to 90% of the energy used during a washing machine's cleaning cycle goes to heating the water. So if you use the cold setting, you're going to reduce that energy consumption.
Do you wash anything on hot water now?
Yeah.
I don't wash any. I mean, every now and then I'll wash my sheets in like once a month when I don't even wash them every time on hot water. Every now and then I'll wash them on hot water, just give them a deeper clean.
Mm-hmm. But this was one that was not high on my list, but I'm actually going to start now that we are reviewing it. I want to give it a try.
It's also better for your clothes. So hot water shrinks clothes and cold water maintains. There's a lot of stats around. I say that, who knows where, but I've heard a lot that your clothes hold up longer. A lot of delicate clothes will always say you have to wash in cold water. And so, I mean, it also makes your clothes last a lot longer, I believe. Okay. Another one that I started recently doing is making your own cleaning supplies. And you can actually make a really simple cleaning solution, like for the counter, for your bathroom, for everything, from water, vinegar, and if you want some sort of an essential oil, which I do because I think it just makes it smell a lot nicer. So I've used like peppermint essential oil and just water and vinegar. You can Google it. There's tons of recipes online. It saves the materials that you would buy when you go buy a thing of 409 or some sort of, method counter cleaner or something. You're buying it in a big plastic bottle. And so I'm making it in a glass bottle that I have that I've, been reusing for years. And it's just a really easy, simple thing to do. And I'm saving a bunch of money because I'm not buying cleaner. I think it probably cost me, 20 cents between the amount of vinegar and essential oil that I'm using. Definitely under $1.
It's also a lot easier on the stuff you are cleaning because what comes in commercial cleaners is like really toxic stuff. So we do this a lot and it's very effective. Next item is going to be buy and use metal straws. Now, when this first became a thing, like in restaurants and hotels. I thought it was more of like a marketing scheme because people like get them, but then still throw them out. And so it makes a big difference, but you have to like stick with it. So like buy them, keep them in your house. If you are a family that uses straws, like reuse them, but this is a good way to cut down on plastic.
This other one I'm really loving lately because we get on different kicks around our coffee setup at our house, but you can actually buy a reusable K-cup. Do you use Keurig coffee machines, Mike?
No, we have coffee machines where it's like single, you put the coffee grounds in it and it makes a single cup. Yeah.
I used to have one like that. We use a lot of, use French press. We kind of go between like different things for our coffee setup, but lately Greg's been on a Keurig kick, and I think at some point we were cleaning out a Keurig machine from like his mom's condo or something. Anyways, we started using it at home, and he has a reusable K-cup. You can buy them on Amazon. We'll put a link in the show notes. They're like under $10. I think the one we bought was exactly $10. And it saves so much money. Keurig pods are really expensive, and they're really bad for the environment because it's a ton of waste every single time. And so it's great. It's literally like a little refillable filter and cup that looks just like is the shape of a disposable Keurig cup, or K-cup as they call them. And it's a great simple thing you can do if you are a Keurig coffee user.
Number 10, don't buy prepackaged snacks. Buy them in bulk and then put them into reusable containers for individual servings for your kids or for yourselves. This is something we've been doing forever.
Yeah. We try to do this most of the time. Every now and then we catch ourselves, in a bind where I'm like at Sam's, in a bind where I say in a bind, but more like I make a bad decision and I'm just like, it's easy to buy the
in a bind, like when you found yourself at the grocery store this morning and needed those plastic bags.
Exactly. That kind of bind. Okay. Number 11, don't buy bottled water, sparkling water in cans, etc. We really only drink water anyways at our house, but we, for a very long time, had a pretty expensive and consumptive, if that's the right word, because it produced a lot of aluminum cans, a sparkling water habit. And we still do, but we switched to a Soda Sense, which I did a whole, actually like on my personal blog, I did a whole cost comparison of how much money we saved from that, which wasn't massive, but it was a significant amount of savings. And so we use a Soda Sense thingy that, you basically make like these liter size bottles from the different, I don't even know what you call the cartridges of whatever you pump into it.
It was that word that you struggled with.
Carbon dioxide?
Yeah.
You won't help me say it. Wait a minute. Am I putting carbon dioxide into my body and it's bad for the environment?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, we love our Soda Sense, and it saves money and tons of literally like 20 or 30 aluminum cans a week based on how we consume it. Also, like we have a nice Berkey water filter. A lot of fridges have decent filters built in. And just in general, like we never buy bottled water, and do as much as you can to avoid buying bottled water. It's incredibly expensive. And it's also really bad for the environment because you're producing, all of these plastic bottles. Even if you're getting water in cans or boxes or other things, it's just so expensive. So we always make sure we have water bottles. Anytime we go anywhere, it's like a habit that everybody fills a water bottle and puts it in the car with them. The kids, us, because you get places and you're thirsty, and that's when you're in a bind and you want to buy a bottle of water because somebody's really thirsty. So plan ahead and be very thoughtful about how you consume water and sparkling water, and you can save a lot.
Number 12, and this is the last one before we get into the bigger lifestyle changes. Buy less canned foods and buy other things in bulk like dried beans and prepare them yourselves. So whether you're buying rice or beans or canned veggies, if you just buy the raw items and then prepare it in bulk or just store it and make it when you need it, you're going to reduce your can waste, and then it's also probably going to be a little bit healthier too.
Yeah, and it's a lot cheaper. Okay, let's shift to some bigger lifestyle changes and approaches. And some of these are a lot bigger and some of these are a little bit bigger. But we wanted to just shift to some, thought-provoking ideas. Number 13 for those who are counting. The first one in this bigger list will be eat less meat, right? So I think we talk about it a good bit. So people probably know myself and my husband, Greg, are vegan. We're not trying to convert you, but the reality is eating less meat can save you a decent amount of money and reduce your carbon footprint. And there's a lot of people I know who even just reduce their consumption, right? They're not trying to go meat free, but they try not to eat it a few nights a week. So however you want to approach that, it's definitely something that can be beneficial.
The thing that's shocking to me is that when I am not thinking about being vegan, like when I'm traveling, it is not something we try to do, but I find myself eating meat every single meal. It is like whatever is being offered at a hotel, whatever is available at restaurants, like almost every dish has meat in it. And it is shocking to me.
It's just very meat centric. Yeah.
Yeah. So eating at home is going to be one easy way to do this, but I agree with you. Just try eating a little bit less meat, and I think you're going to find that it's not a big deal. Next one, number 14, control the temperature in your house. So we're going from cut out meat that you love to just why don't you make your house a little bit warmer in the summer. Keep it a little bit cooler in the winter, a little bit warmer in the summer. Put on a sweatshirt if you're cold. Put on a tank top if you're warm. You will get used to it. You don't need to keep your house at 60 degrees all summer long. But this is going to have a big impact not only on your electrical bill, but on the environment as well.
Number 15, this is one that people are probably pretty familiar with, but install low flow shower heads. So there's a lot of research you can do on this for the style and whatever's important to you, but you can save a lot through having less water come out when you are taking a shower.
Also take less showers.
True. I just do that naturally, not even because of my love for the environment.
Yeah. I don't take showers that often.
My shower consumption during COVID went heavily down.
Oh yeah, me too.
To work.
And it's been fine. Nobody's said anything to me.
Speaking of that, working from home, it's not even on our list, but that is a big...
Oh yeah. Keep working from home, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Number 16, consider becoming a one-car family. This one might seem like a huge sacrifice because I think you'd find yourself in a situation where both cars or all three cars or all four cars are out at the same time. But if you think about how you could actually negotiate your life around one car, it's pretty doable. And Maggie, this is actually something I'm like seriously considering doing once my car dies in the next 1 month to 10 years, however long that lasts. But
4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. I definitely don't need a second car, if I'm being honest.
I'm not even sure we could call that your car a car. So you might already have like 1.25 cars.
Yeah.
I just remember that we have not talked about your car in a long time. For some of our newer listeners, Mike, why don't you tell us about the Butte you drive? What's the year?
I drive a 2003 Ford Explorer, cloth interior, 2-wheel drive, has a tape deck.
Nice. And how many miles are on that puppy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not many.
2004.
100, that is 120, 130.
Almost 20 years old.
Yeah. I just don't drive very often.
Yeah. That car can drink soon. So, okay. Number 17, consume and buy less physical stuff. You mentioned minimalism at the beginning of this episode, which is a topic near and dear to my heart. But the idea is just keep stuff that you have for longer, right? It puts less in landfills and it's better on your wallet. So you don't need to constantly be changing out your throw pillows or a couch every few years, right? Like keep this little stuff like a couch big stuff like a couch. And then little stuff like decorative things around your home or just other things, like just don't consume as much physical stuff. And that can have a big positive impact.
And one way to do this is to buy used items, consignment shops, Goodwill, eBay, Poshmark. Instead of somebody throwing something out, they're willing to sell it to you or give it away to you. You can claim that and dramatically reduce the waste being created.
Number 19, minimize the disposable products you will buy, like disposable razors, plastic bags, because, things like disposable razors and Ziploc bags and stuff, they make other products that are not disposable versions of that now, right? So practically everything where there is a disposable version of something, there's a version that's meant to last, right? So now they make, that's what Tupperware is, right? Whether you're buying kind of the, quote, even the like less, what do you call the Ziploc makes Tupperware that's a little bit less strong and durable than the actual Tupperware brand or Systema and some of the other brands. But either way, that stuff saves you a massive amount in stuff like plastic bags that are disposable. Same thing with razors now. You still have to buy a new razor head, but you're not throwing away the plastic stick every time.
On the plastic bags, you could also just buy plastic bags and reuse them. This is what we do. Instead of buying some bougie thing that costs you 10 times as much, if you just buy sandwich bags and then wash them out, you can reuse them. This is what we do, and it's been very effective. We don't throw any of them away.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have bento boxes for our kids' lunches, which really help. And then we also just use like Tupperware. We put everything in little containers instead of plastic bags.
Mm-hmm.
But on sometimes that you do need plastic bags for things. And we've done the same. We don't do it consistently because we don't use them often enough, but I have been known to wash out some plastic bags.
Number 20, join a buy nothing group. These are all over Facebook, and I'm sure you can find one for your neighborhood. We did a whole episode on this, number 111, and this is a great way to save things from going to a landfill and also saving you money because you won't have to pay anything.
Number 21, eating out less. We just did an entire show on this just a few weeks ago, episode number 143, and talked about why we all have food at home and how we should eat at home more and eat out less. It can save lots of money when you do eat out, especially when you get takeaway. There's like a massive amount of disposable containers that your food's coming in. And you can just save a lot in many different ways.
And our last item, if you're in the market for a new house or you're thinking about moving, buying a smaller house or moving into a smaller place is going to be a great way to do all of these things. You will spend less money heating and cooling your house. You will need to buy less furniture. You will need less cleaning materials to clean the place. It is an all-around excellent way to reduce your carbon footprint. And by the way, it will make your life easier and it will cost you less money.
That is a great one, Mike. And I think a great one to end on. We have just shared 22 little and big things that you can do to improve your impact on the environment, help save Mother Earth on this lovely Earth Day week, and also help your wallet. Because like we said, every single one of these things helps the planet and helps your wallet. And we could go to our top 3 takeaways, yeah?
All right. Number 1, we need to be doing more to help and support our environment. Sustainability practices help the environment and your wallet too.
Number 2, it starts with you. So your small changes can and do have a meaningful impact. And don't use yourself as an excuse to say, oh, I'm just one person. I'm going to let the rest of the world figure it out. Starts with you. Starts with all of us.
And number 3, we challenge you to pick a few of these practices, or all 22 if you'd like, and really commit to them for the next 30 days and perhaps the next 30 years. We think some of them are going to stick with you.
Awesome.
All right, Maggie. Thanks everybody for listening. If you've been challenged or inspired by what you've heard, please rate and review the show. You can also subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode.
If you have any thoughts or questions, we always love to hear from you, and you can leave us a voicemail or text us at 404-981-3370 or hit us up on Instagram.
All right. Happy Earth Day, Maggie.
Happy Earth Day, Mike. Bye.
Bye.